and we added the Uranus aspect. So we've used, so this is just working the ephemeris. You can see that there's that line. I'm drawing this line, and you can do it with a pencil and a ruler. As soon as you read it, you're writing it in, and you got this done. So you don't have to write it down in the first graph. You don't have to make the whole graph with it. You can just look at the ephemeris, or this, especially this 200-year ephemeris of 20 years on a day on a page, and you just mark in the months that's within a degree, and there it is. And you're marking down the critical time. So here Uranus was added in, and there was nothing in 2015 or 2016, but by 2015, or nothing in 2013, 2015 started square my moon, then opposed my sun in 2016, then it lifted off in 2017, 2018, thank goodness, then it comes back and opposes my Jupiter in 2019 and 2020. Okay, so this is, now on this graph, we have all the major planets from Uranus, Neptune, all the major difficult aspects that are really affecting us from Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. The really critical things challenging our Saturn cycle, disturbing our Saturn cycle and making it harder. We're getting distracted, pulled away into these while we're trying to live our Saturn cycle. These are the problems that come up and have to deal with, and we sort of have to navigate through these. You know, you're going to have to come deal with confrontations with truth with Pluto. You're going to have temptations, illusions, visions with Neptune. You're going to have shocks and sudden changes with Uranus. So I take it there's room for Saturn ones on here too. So I put the Saturn ones in also. And where are we here? Sorry. Yeah, so when we put the Saturn ones, I'm not even going to go to the sheet anymore, but when we get the whole, this is the whole graph to Saturn. Okay, and when I'm using this graph, I'm using when I'm looking at the aspects from Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, I'll put any aspect Saturn and in, to Saturn and in. When I'm using Saturn, I'll put any of the aspects, yeah, Saturn in, and I'll just put any of the conjunction squares in, but really I'm looking for it to the angles, to the moon, to the ascendant, to Mercury, to Venus, to Mars. Those are the most outstanding ones. It would be enough to just do those ones for this 8-year graph. You could leave out the Saturn, the Jupiter. You have Saturn to Saturn already on the other graph, but you can have it in here too. But here you'll see Saturn is making it, my Mercury and Saturn and Mars are conjunct. So here Saturn's going along, and it's conjuncting my Mercury, Mars going through Scorpio 2013. Then it comes up, conjuncts my IC, conjuncts Venus, squares my ascendant, comes back, conjuncts Venus, squares the ascendant, conjuncts Venus, squares the ascendant. Like, I got a whole year of this Saturn going back and forth continuously, 2015. And that's as Uranus was disrupting shaking up my personal feelings and personal life. And so many things were changing. So the changes kept going on through 2018, but the Saturn eased off through 2016 and 2017, 2018. There weren't Saturn difficulties. They were all the outer planet ones. 2019, I have Saturn to the moon. I have Saturn coming up to hit the sun. Uranus squares my Jupiter, Pluto squares my sun. So I still have a lot of major, but you can see how these aspects are piling up in years of your life to be able to work. So if someone sees you at a certain time, you can say, well, you've just been coming through this, and they'll know they've been coming through these aspects. You just start talking about it, they know what it is. You'll, as soon as you talk about anyone, is, oh yeah, that's my affair, or that's my husband, or that's somebody's drinking, or something, what's going on. They're gonna know what these things are. You don't know if it's working positively or negatively, but you're getting the situations anchored in. So making this graph is the second graph you have to do for, this is our prep work for this level. And we're going to do it every week. It's worth making the effort doing this till you get used to putting this together. It's going to take you an hour to prep for this, because you're doing, but with the computer, you're running off the charts. And here I use the example of using the 200-year ephemeris to do it. But we can also use the computer to do this and run these off by computer just as easily, which most people are doing that. That's one of the nice things of Matrix. So in going back so that was one example. Now I'm going to use an example where we're using this for different years. We're going, this is the 90 years. This is to do the big graph, the circular graph for 90 years. I made the aspect Saturn to Saturn, And I made only the squares, conjunctions, squares, and oppositions across 90 years. But this chart, it shows you it's exact. When you look here, it has here's the conjunctions. It shows it's exact. Then it leaves 1 degree orb. And the next list is when it left the 1 degree orb. So when it enters within 1 degree, it tells you when it enters the 1 degree or leaves 1 degree. So it's showing you the phases that these lines are for. Or like really it's photograph. When we're doing our Saturn cycle, we have to have the 1 degree phases. And this is giving you this. So I think, what are we doing for time? 8 o'clock. Okay, good. What I think I'm going to take a few minutes here and just do this, show you how to do this in WinStar so that it becomes a little easier. But this is a WinStar printout. Other programs can do, you can probably do the same. You have to set up the categories to do this. So let me just go here and pull in the WinStar. Okay, so I have a WinStar. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. I have to get another. Whoops, I have to change the database, excuse me, and change database. I'll pick up this one. Okay, take a minute. Okay, so I don't need this like this anymore. So we have the database. So this has got the natal chart already entered. It's my chart, but I'm the sample one. So I pulled up, this is the chart. So you have this. And with these forms, you have the WinStar if you want. You can hit this add form and it lets us put aspects or other types of forms in. I use the aspect grid too. So I've already added this in. So there's the aspect grid. So these are the first 2 printouts you want to put in for the study of the chart. Okay. And I use this aspect grid because on the bottom it gives you the main aspects, but on the top it gives you the exact degrees and minutes of each aspect, so you can see exactly if you need to, when you need to, what that is. I'm going to go back to the wheel 2. The other thing this program does, which is nice, I'm in the classic view. You'll see up left here, the classic. If you go up to the top to the extended, you can get a colored chart. Say this isn't the same way, it's not the same chart. Where are we here? It should be there. Okay. So here's the chart with the color for the signs. I had to set the color, the defaults for the colors for the signs, but it puts it in. Then if I wanted to, I can set this to add the progress chart. I can add the transit chart. Whoops, I didn't take it. Okay, 1 second. Just getting a bit ahead of ourselves here. Rest. Okay. Transit chart. Okay, now if we hit the here, we can get, this gives us a chart with the progressions evolving and the transits around it and the color. So working on a screen, this is really nice to use. However, I still like the detail of just a classic view. And this gives you the charts to look exactly in the circle for now, but it doesn't give the sequence. So I'm not going to use, I don't use this much. I stay in the classic view. I do this chart. Then we want to get to transits. We hit the search, and then you can hit any one of these. It doesn't matter. They all go to the same search. So I hit 1 year, and the search wheel, and it is already setting up a year's transits from every planet. Mercury, Moon, Venus. There's way too much stuff here. So this is what it comes up. I've already made for myself. I have a 2-year transit thing that gives me 2 years with the main conjunction squares and oppositions for Mars and out. And a few minor, but what we want to do here, I just got here because I want to show you how to get these graphs done for our chart, or to get the ones what we need for our worksheet. Now, for me, I have them already saved, 8 years for Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, Uranus, and have the 90 years for Saturn. So I have them already preset, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make them up so you can see how to make it. You go to New Search. So on the New Search, you come up with this box. Okay, and it says what date to what date. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this date to my birth date. We'll start on the 17th. October 46, change it. And then I'm on this column over on the right-hand side, it says length of day, 1 day. I'm going to change this all the way down to 90 years. Okay, so I set this to start at my birth date. I set the length to go for 90 years. It's equal 1946 to 2036. Okay, now on all of these, this will do solar arcs, which we don't use at all. It's just progressions to progressed aspects, progress to the natal aspects, that's ahead. And it's transits to progressions, we don't use it. Transit to transits, that's happening each day. We don't use it. We're using transits to natal. So I click on transits to natal, and I come up with a box. On this box, you can do transits, you can choose any of these other ones. We're just using the transits to natal. And here, the aspects. Well, here they have Ptolemy aspects, but I have made my own aspects, which just conjunction squares and oppositions. You have to do that in the main program, there are options. But I've set up the main force, it's just conjunction squares and oppositions. Okay, that's the only things it's going to calculate. So I got that set. And under events, if I wanted the sign ingress, when it enters the sign, when it enters the house, when it goes retrograde or void, it goes that. We don't use void, of course. But I'm going to check on the enter and leave. This means when it enters 1 degree orb or when it leaves 1 degree orb. So when it'll give us the dates when it enters 1 degree, when it's exact, and when it leaves 1 degree. So it gives us the whole phase that we're looking for. Under the advanced options, I click on the true node rather than the approximate one. That's the only thing. And then extra points we're not going to use. These are other things. Now, when we look at this graph, are we doing for time? Okay, we're lots of time. Okay, good.